Hi all, this is Simona Rich. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what happened after publishing the first part of the book review by Jonas Markunas about the cause of human illnesses and misfortunes. It's about my dog Leo, and at first I thought that I'm going to tell what happened and then carry on with the second part of the book review, but I thought I will separate these two videos, and I'm still reading the book, so I haven't finished yet. So this is going to be only about what happened after I published the first part of the book review. I fixed the holes in the fence and I started letting him out in the garden, and he was really enjoying himself. But then one day he was nowhere to be found. And I know that he loves finding holes and getting out of my property border, but then he always comes back and he can't find his way through that hole again. So what he does always is that he goes to the main gate and he sits there until I see him. But this time I kept looking for him. He was nowhere to be seen, and the next day he was nowhere to be seen either. So I notified my neighbors. The entire area knows about this, and I thought that someone will give information about seeing him somewhere, yet no information has come forth. So what I think happened is that someone took the dog, because I can't think of anything else that could have happened to him, because if he would be hit by a car or something like this, then someone would have notified me, because the area knows about my missing dog. But I didn't receive such calls, so it means that someone took the dog. But I kept hoping that as the days passed someone would call me, but so far I haven't received any calls about what happened to my dog. So I do believe someone just took him, because that's the danger of taking an old dog from a shelter, just in general, taking an old dog, because you can't train them. So if they weren't trained, they are going to continue with what they do. So for example, at first when my dog stayed with me, he was always with me, but then he got more courageous and he started exploring the area around. And even if I would tell him, show that he should not go out, that he should stay inside, he would never listen. And whenever I turned my back on him, he would try to go, but then he would always come back. But this time it didn't, and I did my part to try as best as I can to explain, to train him to stay inside the border of my property, but he somehow managed again to get out, and so now he's missing. So the way that I see the situation is that I did what I could to protect him, but he still managed to get out, and now he's missing. So when you take a dog from a shelter and it's an old dog, you cannot train him. And another thing that Leo did, he loved following new people. Whenever he would see new people, he would run to kind of like introduce himself to them, and people loved that dog because he was so beautiful. And so what I think happened is that he started following, he saw some person, started following that person, and maybe that person liked that dog and took him with him. And that was in the destiny. I don't feel shocked by it. I still hope that he would return, but that's the way that I live my life, is that if something happens, I accept it. And sometimes humans can't change some things. We are not gods. So some things have to happen and we just have to accept it. So I still haven't lost hope. Maybe someone will call someday to tell about seeing my dog, but so far nothing has come forth. And even if it's not in the area, if he's somewhere else, he's chipped, because unfortunately I'm against it, but if you take dogs from shelter in my country, they will be vaccinated and they will be chipped. So He has in him my information. If someone would find him somewhere else, I would know about it, but as I said, so far I didn't receive any information about him. So now I published the book review about this the spiritual principles of life, and I received so many positive comments of people saying that, wow, this book opened my eyes, please make the second part, and so forth. And I felt like that it's important, it's an important video that I'm making. And then at night of that day, I received a call from an unknown number, and the lady on the other side started screaming at me, almost cursing me, and telling things like, how can you sleep at night when you know that your dog is homeless? Like trying to shame me. And I was thinking, who is that person? And then I realized that she must be connected with the dog shelter where I got the dog, but she was basically judging me without knowing anything about the situation, like almost cursing me. And then she said, how careless you are. And she actually threatened me. She said that she's going to ruin my public image. Seriously, I don't even know that person. I never met that lady in my life, and she's treating me like a personal enemy, and she was just screaming. I wasn't able to reason with her. I tried to calm her down, but she didn't listen to anything I was saying. She was just screaming at me. So after the call, I was thinking, what did just happen? For what reason was I going through such experience? I was thinking about this quite a long time, and then I realized that's because of the video that I made and the article that I wrote about the mentioned book review. So basically what happened, many people became aware of the transgressions that keep them in the grip of the dark side, and so they were released. That's why I felt that the video and article were important. I felt some sort of positive shift, but I don't have the connection with God as strong as to be able to see what's happening. But I think what was happening, I felt the positive shift was that the dark side lost some of the grip over the people, and so the light side got more of the grip. So the dark side used that lady to express its anger, because it's not normal if you don't know a person to call them and shout at them. This is not normal. It felt so personal, and now I understand why she was used simply as a tool by the dark side. That the dark side expressed what it feels towards me through that lady. And that actually reminded me of Eckhart Tolle's first book, what he wrote at the beginning of it, that something like this happened to him too. And I read that book long time ago, so I don't exactly remember the incident, but he said that he healed some lady from the pain body or something like this, and then shortly after, one man started shouting at him for no reason, and that man didn't know him. So that's amazing. That's how the dark side works. It will try to harm you through the tools that it has, through the people that it has the grip on. And if you are spiritually protected, nothing will happen to you as a result. But also I read I listened to Jonas Markūnas videos, because he does make videos as well, but it's in Lithuanian, and he said that if you try to strengthen your connection with God and to lead a more pure life, be not surprised when the dark side comes after you, and it will make you repay your past sins. So he said that if you wouldn't try to live a better life, nothing would happen to you. So the effects of sins probably would reach you after death. But if you're trying to lead a more pure life, then you will get the effects now. So that's so amazing. That means that if you are not transgressing, if you lead a very pure life, you keep strengthening connection with God, then if you have no sins at all, no transgressions, then the dark side cannot touch you in any way. But if you have, then you will have to repay some of the transgressions, and that's fine. And he says that if that happens, just calmly accept it, go through it, because that's like a cleansing process, and I accept this totally, and that's what I will do. So that's what happened after creating the summary, the video about this important book, and writing an article about it. And this encouraged me to create a second part for sure. If it helps the light, if more people release themselves from the grip of darkness, then I'm all for it. So that's the incident that I had to go through, and it made me think that even when I was taking that dog from the shelter, I got that vibe that some of the women working there were so obsessed about their work, and I felt that's because there was nothing happy about their lives and they had a lot of inner anger, and so all of it is channeled into this one object. And then when they find within that sphere of activity to blame someone, they will direct all their anger in an unreasonable way just to destroy that person. Because a person who is happy with their lives, they would never be angry in such a way. If you're very happy with your life, even if you hear about a person who is really bad and they did a lot of bad things, you will actually never judge that person. You will just hope that he will change. You would wonder why he formed the way that he ended up being such a person. There would be no negative emotion. So if for such a thing huge anger is directed, can you imagine what a personal hell that person is living in? So what I did, I prayed for that lady, because maybe nobody is doing that for her. And that's what Jonas Markūnas tells in his book, that it's very important to pray for the forgiveness of sins of those who hurt you, because you will also be more protected if this happens, because we're all connected. And if you only pray for yourself but other people are somehow connected to you and you don't pray for others, there will be not much change. But if you pray for all the people connected with you, people in some way who have come into your life and maybe they hurt you, then the change will be great. So I think that's all I wanted to share with you in this video. As I said, I hope my dog will return, but I'm not God. I don't know the ways of God, and maybe I was used as a way to free the dog from the shelter, and maybe someone else had to get the dog. I don't feel like I'm the owner of the dog. I provided the best conditions for him that I could, and if he is no longer with me, then what can I do? I did my best to bring him back, but if it's not in his destiny to stay with me, then there's really nothing that I can do. And I'm peaceful about it, because sometimes the ways of God are unknown and we think that the situation is actually bad, but maybe it's working out for the best of everyone. So that's all I wanted to share with you in this video. Thank you for watching, and also please do leave a comment if you also were attacked by the dark side and how that happened. That would be also interesting to hear. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Take care.